I get into today's breakdown, I just wanted to take a minute to welcome all the new subscribers to this channel. I started this channel back in late March of this year, and I'm entirely new to making and editing videos and never realized just how time consuming and what work it takes to make these. And granted, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm learning as I go along. It takes me around like 15 to 20 hours to make each of these videos. So I really, really appreciate your support and your likes and your comments, and especially your subscriptions, which help this channel to get visibility and then continue to grow. Leave a like if you enjoy this video. Consider subscribing if you like this kind of content, because there's lots more where this is coming from. And you know what? Like all the videos on YouTube that you enjoy, and give subscriptions to those channels, especially those smaller ones. It's not just personally gratifying for us, it helps the channels grow. You're helping the channel. So if you like it, you want to see more, help us out. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed, and especially to those that take a minute out of your day to leave comments. It's been really nice to get to know some of you and chat with you and hear your ideas and your feedback. Okay, so let's get into the breakdown of Season 6, Episode 4, Hit and Run. This was Ray Seahorn's directorial debut, written by Ann Cherkis. I saw some chatter online that some people thought this episode was a little slow. I even saw some people say it was boring, which I didn't think it was boring at all. And actually, after last week's episode, Rock and Hard Place, I was grateful for a minute to catch my breath and for the much needed comedic relief that this episode brings to us. I'm still kind of reeling from last week. And if you haven't seen my breakdown of Rock and Hard Place, I'll put the link up here somewhere and also drop it down in the description. So like previous episodes, this one I think has an overarching motif, right? So for the first one, for Wine and Roses, I would say that the motif or the theme was that the characters were on a quest for proof. And I would say that the second episode was about discovery, and the third episode was about the choices that characters make. This one, I would say, is about knowing.
It's a lot of big talk, Bill. Prove it. Prove it, Bill!
There's proving, and then there's knowing.
The episode opens with a couple riding bikes through a nicely manicured middle-class neighborhood. They're perfectly synchronized in their hand signals when they make turns and say hello to neighbors. This is the first of several doublings that we see in this episode. When we watched this for the first time, my partner remarked how they read as undercover law enforcement because of this officiousness. It's like an over-endorsement of the law, or even a parody of the law. They stopped to remark on a red house, and red being the color of crime in this series. It's not just an eyesore in the neighborhood, but it's something that offends their sense of rights. When they pull into their garage, the woman remarks on how the HOA can't be okay with this. Again, this commentary reflects on their strict adherence to the rules. As they walk indoors, you see members of a surveillance team bustling around, and we get this reveal that they're watching Gus's house. We later find out that this is Gus's operation, because like how Bill Oakley knows without proof that Jimmy scammed the court, Gus knows that Lalo is still alive. We then see the scheme that Jimmy and Kim were planning in the previous episode. Howard Hamlin goes to his therapy appointment, and we learned that he is married and things aren't going so great with his wife, Cheryl. Meanwhile, Jimmy, dressed in his Hamlindigo suit that he had made earlier in the series when he imitated the HHM billboard and logo. In the last episode, when Huell steals Howard's keys off the valet, we hear the Emperor's Concerto playing in Howard's car. I was reminded of the Hans Christian Andersen telling of the Emperor's New Clothes. In the story, there is an emperor who is very fond of fine clothing, and he spends all of his money buying the best, most expensive clothes. Then two swindlers come to town and claim that they're able to make the finest, lightest, most magnificent cloth the world has ever seen, and it's so extraordinary that it is invisible to all who are incompetent or stupid. Hearing of this, the emperor hires the swindlers to make him his new clothes. He pays them and they make these fake clothes. They just go through the motions, of course. They're not really making anything. And then there's this huge procession planned for him to show them off. The people, afraid to admit that they can't see the clothes because that means they're stupid or incompetent, applaud and cheer until a small boy cries out, "But the emperor has no clothes." So when Jimmy steals the car and he's parading as Howard, it could be said that he has disrobed the emperor. Meanwhile, Kim is waiting at a restaurant for Cliff Main. She is fidgety and adjusts her chair so that Cliff can have a clear view of the action on the street behind her. She is dressed in a rose-covered blouse, and as I mentioned before when discussing the promotional content, it is a very Lalo-esque shirt and a clear contrast to the solid blue blouse that she later wears when meeting with a client. This is further evidence of the bifurcation or compartmentalization of Kim. She has her scheming, scamming suit, and she has her legit pro bono lawyer suit. Kim and Jimmy are newly dressing themselves in their Saul suit. The emperor has new clothes. I mentioned in my previous breakdown of Rock and Hard Place that Kim is helping to fashion Saul. She's helping to create this character. And it's as much for Jimmy as it is for her. She's living vicariously through Saul. Saul is her creation. Kim, I think, is perhaps more Saul than Saul is. So Kim and Jimmy are newly dressed in this Saul suit, the emperor who has new clothes. And they think they're invisible, but are they? Cliff shares that his son Gregory has a drug problem, which has given him a more personal view of the legal system, as Kim shares her ideas for her pro bono work as a stall while Jimmy and Wendy make their way there. Jimmy pulls up, he throws Wendy from the car right in front of the restaurant, and as planned, Cliff Main recognizes Howard's car. We see in the teaser for the next episode that Cliff Main confronts Howard about this incident. Just as Bill Oakley knows without proving and Gus knows without proving, Cliff Main knows.
I just need you to know that I know.
It wasn't me, Cliff.
The fact that Cliff has a son with a drug problem may come into play here. He's probably familiar with the motions of denial. We know that Howard has struggled with Chuck's suicide and things aren't so great at home. He has sought therapy. This all gives credence to the lie that he is a drug addict. As an aside, the comment that Cliff makes regarding having a different view of the legal system as a result of his son's personal problems may also give us some insight into Kim. Perhaps her mother's drinking issues have given her a more personal view of the legal system as well. There is still so much mystery about Kim's past, and I hope we'll get to know more about that past this season. On the Insider podcast, Ray mentioned that it was her idea that Kim not have any personal photos in the apartment. Another cool side note that Ray actually painted the bird paintings that we see hanging above Kim's bed. So when Kim drops Wendy off back at the Crystal Palace, which is really called the Crossroads Motel, which, what a great symbolic name, she realizes that the car that Wendy thought was undercover police following her is actually trailing Kim. Back at the apartment, Jimmy recounts the story of how he pulled off the car switch. Kim shares that she thinks she's being followed, and Jimmy does his best to try to allay these fears.
You ever feel like you're being followed?
Well, you know what they say. The wicked flee when no man pursueth.
You think we're wicked?
All right. Listen to the voice of experience, okay? You know why you're feeling like this? Because we got away with it. It seems too good to be true. But trust me, nobody is following you. No one knows what we're doing except for us.
When Jimmy says that nobody knows what we're doing except for us, I am again reminded of the Emperor's new clothes and the concept of visibility. He believes that no one knows what they're up to, but we later learn that that's not true. I also think it's worth noting that he writes off Kim's paranoia as a guilty conscience. We also see that Gus has a heightened sense of paranoia when he arrives home. When he first walks into the house, he drops his smiling facade to reveal his more authentic, serious Gus face. And every time he does this, I am reminded of this meme. Anyway, he undresses and is revealed to be wearing a bulletproof vest and an ankle halter. He goes to take off the halter, but reconsiders. I mean, Lalo managed to survive and take out a bunch of hitmen that Gus hired, so his abundance of caution is not without merit. We then get this super cool Batman-like reveal of a hidden passageway to the house next door, where Gus passes what appears to be his own body double. Great minds think alike, huh? This may be in part why Gus knows, without any real proof, that Lalo is alive. Kim spots the car that's been following her across the street from El Camino. We then get this really great scene where Kim and Mike meet for the very first time. Mike confesses that he's been following her and Jimmy and tries to assure her that he really doesn't care about her nefarious activities, and then also shares that Lalo is still alive.
I'm trying to solve a problem of my own.
What problem?
Lalo Salamanca. Most likely he'll never reach out. He's got bigger fish to fry. But in the 1,000 to 1 chance that he does.
This moment reminds me of a conversation that Marie and Skylar have in the finale of Breaking Bad, when Marie calls Skylar to alert her that there are reports that Walt is back in town.
There's no way Walt's getting to you. They are absolutely going to catch him. No doubt about it. That Eric and Alex, he's some criminal mastermind, but he's not. But on the off chance.
Yeah.
On the 1,000,000 to 1 chance.
Marie notes that the odds are slim that he would ever get to her, but after they hang up, we get this reveal of Walt standing in Skylar's kitchen. Now, I don't know if they meant this as foreshadowing with what will happen in Better Call Saul, but I think there's better than a 1 in a million chance that Lalo may try to make contact with Kim. When Kim asks Mike why he is telling her and not Jimmy, he says that it's because she's made of sterner stuff. This reminds me a bit of the conversation that Kim had with Susan Erickson in the previous episode. Suzanne tells Kim that she's telling her because she thinks Kim is more likely to listen to reason. I think this is an interesting inverse of how in previous seasons, everyone thought that Jimmy was exerting his influence on Kim, like Chuck, like Howard. And then here in this season, we see that everyone thinks that Kim has sway over Jimmy, which of course she does. The question of what Kim will do with this influence is still very much up in the air. We've seen her get darker and darker so far this season. She seems legitimately scared when she finds out that Lalo is alive, though it's hard to tell if that fear is because of Lalo or if she's afraid of getting caught scheming against Howard. In the final scene of the episode, we see Jimmy and Kim meet outside of what will later become Saul's office. Jimmy shares that he needs to find a new office after Miss Nguyen threw him out, and Kim responds, "Bad day." This is a callback to Wine and Roses when Jimmy asks her if she had a bad day, to which she responds it was the best day of her professional life. There is a reciprocity between them, but it's also a reversal. They have very different ideas of what constitutes a bad day. For Jimmy, a good day is making lots of money, getting new clients. For Kim, it's making no money and being able to do her pro bono work. The only thing that these two really seem to have in common anymore is their love for the scheme. In this scene, we also learned that the office is located close to Taco Cabeza.
Taco Cabeza is just around the corner.
Which is one of Jesse's preferred drug meets.
So where do you transact your business? Enlighten me.
I don't know, how about Taco Cabeza? Half the deals I've ever done went down at Taco Cabeza. Nice and public, open 24 hours. Nobody ever gets shot at Taco Cabeza.
Maybe this is where Jesse can make a cameo later this season. There were a few other Easter eggs in this episode from the teaser in Wine and Roses, such as the owl beanie baby that Jimmy tries to use as a bribe. And I think this might be the same little black book that we saw in the teaser as well. Another thing I wanted to note is Spooch's friend is wearing a ice cream cone necklace, which calls back to the mint chocolate chip ice cream cone that Jimmy drops when Nacho comes to pick him up and take him to go see Lalo. As Kim and Jimmy walk away, we get another visual representation of Kim behind bars, which I think might be foreshadowing of Kim's fate. These showrunners are really big on misdirection, though, as evidenced by every teaser and trailer that they've put out so far this season. So who knows? So that does it for this breakdown. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.